Take a guess at how much this one influencer generated in a 12-hour stream. Just take a guess.
25 mil.
25 mil? What do you reckon? 1 mil? $1.7 billion in a 12-hour live stream. That's the kind of money we're talking about. Yeah. So if he's getting a cut, bro, he's making bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. It's our third episode, and for today we have our first guest. It's Tarren, TSG, right here. Welcome, Tarren. Nice to have you. Obviously, I'm joined by Viper, and we are here talking about like content creation and all that stuff that goes with it. Because if you didn't know, Tarren is the influencer manager at Illuvium. Yeah, that's my big intro for you. How are you doing, Tarren? All good?
Great. No, good, man. Good. Very, very excited to come on and chat content. I think I've said it to you guys behind the scenes many times. I miss doing the content myself as well. I feel like that the competitive drive of being in content with each other was fun. Whereas now it's more back end admin stuff. I don't get to flex that creative muscle as much. So it'll be cool to at least talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, I remember because we talked recently that we started out with Illuvium content creation kind of around the same time, and you were always
7 to 9 days.
Yeah.
7 to 9 days apart, yeah.
And I remember you were always a step ahead of me, always a viewer more, I was always trying to chase you and I could never catch up. So that was really a good motivation for me to keep grinding and try to keep to catch you, even though it didn't seem possible.
Oh man, I appreciate you saying that.
but now you're out of the game, so
I wish I was back. I tell CRX this all the time. I'm like, man, be thankful I'm not back in there because I would be like, yo, the competitive spirit in me is like, if I come back, I want to be able to beat all of you guys. And I did flex a little bit of my creative muscles recently. I don't know. I think Viper knows what I'm talking about. I can't share with it publicly. And even then, I kind of proved to myself in a very in a nice way that I still had it in me and I could still compete with you guys, even if people didn't know what was up.
Oh, so you're Donnie. That's what's it.
No, absolutely not. That's a bit crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine you're missing that because I've also talked to Lama, how he likes his new position at Illuvium. He absolutely loves it, but he also says he's kind of missing his own like channel, doing his own content creation, stuff like this. Because obviously, when you're in Illuvium, it's all in. You overtime, you're overworked, and you're giving it all for the project, and then there's not much time left for personal hobbies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Viper, how did you start? I don't know how this podcast actually goes, but how did you start doing the content? Because you were obviously a professional Hearthstone player.
Yeah, so...
Okay. You used to stream to like 500 people, right? You told me.
Yeah, that was like 20. That was like peak Twitch days for me. So pretty much like 2015, 16, or more like 2015 I graduated high school, right? Then I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do and this and that. I probably don't want to start studying right away. And I mean, I didn't really care about studying at all anyways. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, just like do some other stuff, eventually figure out what I want to do. I don't really know what I want to study yet at all. Eventually start studying math in 2016, and in the downtime between I started playing more Hearthstone, especially I think I played a lot of World of Warcraft, played a lot of Hearthstone at that time. And then in Hearthstone, I was like, oh, well, I can do this esports stuff. I mean, it's pretty open system. It's merit system. I can just qualify it. Always been good at card games. So while I qualified for like Hearthstone, like a championship, which back then was like top eight player, go to Los Angeles. I got one of those top 8 and play out. The winner goes to BlizzCon, which was World Championship back then. And I didn't have social media or anything before. I was like, I don't care about Facebook, don't care about Twitter, never made an account. I don't really use YouTube myself, I only watch Twitch. And then some of the people I met there were like, bro, you have to make a Twitter account and this and that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make Twitter account that makes sense. And eventually back then I was still living like that. 2016 when that happened was like in summer. In summer I was still living at home, and internet was like too shitty to stream. So I tried to stream, and I was like, okay, I can't stream here. But then when I moved out for college, college is a university in Germany, moved out for that. Then I was like, well, I actually had the good enough internet so I could start streaming a little bit. But I mean, 2016 back then, I was like, okay, I didn't make it to BlizzCon back then, sadly. And I had like a couple of viewers. I streamed like a little bit now and then. I was studying math on the side, right? Then I did Hearthstone and the math thing. And then in 2018, qualified for World Championship. I'm like, okay, I dropped studying. It's like the esport thing seems like way better. And then I always stream a little bit. And then in 2019, after World Championship, after going second at Worlds, I'm gonna start streaming more and more and more. And yeah, then I started to gain, I think, more viewership, but I wasn't really full-time streaming back then. But I was more on the esports side, which I still was in 2020. But I decided to just, I don't know, the way that the esports system changed and everything, I was like, okay, I had like 100-ish viewers, 100 to 200 at the start of 2020. I was like, okay, I'm going to do full-time effort into content creation and streaming as well, because there's the way that the esports system was, it was like essentially 8 weeks of league play. And those 8 weeks, like every weekend you have to play and so on, but it's still manageable to stream during the week. And then like every 6 times a year, there would be a big event, which I'd probably like fly out to over the weekend and so on. So
Sorry, I'm very curious.
that's like the end. That's like the end of the story, basically.
Yeah. But during that time, did you think that you were able to monetize the content side of things, or were you just like, hey, I'm just going to do this on the side while my main monetization is through the actual esports?
Yeah, the way that I think most people in my position perceive those things is essentially you can monetize esport very, very well, but it's not really something where you look in the future and I'm like, okay, 3 years in the future, I'm going to have this esport income that I had this year. Because you don't know if the game viewer numbers are going to be there, essentially. You don't know if like the company screws up of the system, or the esport doesn't monetize as well, or I don't know, company has issues with like the organizations and that want to sponsor players, which in Blizzard's case, for example, that was a reality. Blizzard did piss off a lot of the esport teams and just people that wanted to engage and sponsor with them. So that's very much not the thing that you see in like 3 years in the future or 2 years in the future even. So you're like, my perspective was always, okay, this looks Hearthstone Esports 2019. Yeah, this is going to be here like 2 years in the future. But in those 2 years, I can start building up a stream content creation thing, because that's what like all the other smart people that I was surrounded by at that time essentially did. And they had their success stories like a few years before I had mine in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to start building up a streaming on the side / probably going to focus more on it. But that was the tricky thing in 2020, especially for me, because my main income certainly was esport. Like I was paid monthly, a good contract sum. I think one of the better ones at the time in that industry, or like my game basically, for esport. And I had like relatively secure tournament prize money and so on. So I would say like realistically, I don't know, 80%, 70 to 80% of my income was on the esports side of things. But I was like, that's not my long-term side on this. So there was like troubles. That's also how I kind of, I don't know, really, really stressful times for me, because I was like low rolling. It's just like, it was just like had like unlucky 2020 especially. So that took away a lot of time from streaming. And I don't know, I guess 2020 was just a lot of annoying stuff going on in like Hearthstone and private life and so on as well. So that made me cut down on streaming more and more. And eventually I was like, okay, I don't even believe that Hearthstone as a game has a future and like the really long term anymore. So I'm gonna like quit that as well, like slowly but sure. That's why I wanted to like, okay, let me look at Genshin Impact. I sadly, there's so many stories where I was like clinging on to, okay, Hearthstone is like my good income, so I should focus on that first. And that's how I missed some other good opportunities, because I didn't prioritize them like first. Like I think I could have prioritized Genshin Impact as like the first thing to play and stream. If I would have done that at launch of that game, that probably could have been very, very successful. And the game is still doing like far, far better than Hearthstone ever did, for example. And it's like a far easier and more chill thing as like a content creator, because what I had as a brand was usually, well, I'm a good player. But there's like 10 other, like you can just hop onto Twitch and find somebody else that can fill good player role for you. So if that was just your brand, that's like not good, essentially.
Yeah, not sustainable. Yeah, yo, and sorry, last question, and then pass. Yo,
Okay.
but no, because I'm fucking. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be cussing. But no, I love
No,
that
you can
actually.
cuss.
We
Fuck
don't
No,
that.
no, no, I shouldn't. As
Oh,
one of my
you
children,
should. Okay.
I've been told that I shouldn't. But yeah, no, Viper, like because you've been doing this for a while and you've seen people come and go. I'm very curious because I started content 2021, I think. It was like a little bit like it wasn't that long, and I only did it for like a year and a half before I transitioned into an actual job. How did the way people monetize content creation change? Like, how did you? Is it the same way that you monetize? Has it changed dramatically? Like, are there way more opportunities now? Way less opportunities now? Like, what are you seeing based on your experience, the people that you knew back then compared to now?
I mean, from like personal experience, I can say like I had like what good sponsorship deals in terms of like streaming and so on, like 2019 only. Like before that, I mean, there's like nothing of relevance, so I can't speak a whole lot on that. I think the main thing that has changed tremendously is that it's far more accepted and common that people just like play ads nowadays. That
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, ads pay far better than they used to, because I mean, I don't know, Twitch, like to some extent, due to a lot of other competitors, and to some extent because I don't know, Amazon bought Twitch and they wanted to actually have Twitch be profitable. They just incentivized, instead of just acquiring more users and whatnot, just making money. At some point, like the company has to like make a profit, so they
and
incentivize
you're
people to
talking
pay more ads. Yeah.
and you're talking about like actual ads that stop the stream and come on, correct?
Yes. So like streamer
Yeah.
hits a button and like play an ad, right? Like the current you have these ads, and I think it's like a year or two now. I mean, maybe it's even longer. I lie about that. Where you don't know, if you subscribe to the Twitch ad program, right, and you play at least 3, 4, 5 minutes of ads per hour, then you get a higher share of the revenue from those ads, right? And that is
Cool.
very substantial numbers. That's why people just play more and more ads. That's why it's just so common that everybody does that. At the same side, Twitch is also offering this like $8 per month subscription where people can then not see ads anymore. So, like, well, they essentially make streamers pay. They pay streamers far more to actually play the ads. They give them a better share, but then they also, the share that they lose in the ads, they now probably make back to a great extent by people buying like the Twitch Turbo or Twitch Pro or
Yeah,
something
it's
it's
the
called.
same as YouTube Premium.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I find it super interesting with those type of ads, and then the actual pre rolls. You know, the ones where the content creator or the streamer will say, "Hey, this is an ad for blah blah blah." It's probably less of a thing on Twitch. I haven't seen it so much on Twitch. Definitely on YouTube. But what's interesting is I think you're right where these companies pay more, but I actually think that they're losing less efficiency. It's kind of like how billboards used to be hyper efficient. Then we went to TV adverts, and we become so numb to it. And then Google ads, Facebook ads, they used to be really profitable, and now the ROI on it's just losing it. And now I'm looking at even like I'm speaking on my personal opinion, but most people that I know as well, if they're watching a video and the person starts speaking, and this video was sponsored by blah 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 da 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 da. Everyone just starts skipping it. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they make the creators make more money, but actually the ROI for the company I think is a lot less because we're so like, yeah, just we're so numb to it that we just skip past it right now. And I think that a lot of the companies haven't really caught on yet. I feel like we're always behind. You know what I mean? It's very. I think the only things that on Twitch that are still like the sponsored stuff is when they play the game for like an hour or multiple hours, whatever those
Yeah.
deals are.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, but otherwise, it from a studio or a business point of view, it actually has lost a lot of its effectiveness. That's what I've started to see personally.
It's a big
Yeah.
difference in. Sorry.
Uh,
There's this big difference in like live stream and recording, right? Like in YouTube,
Yes.
Spotify, and so on, you just like go, like hit the forward 15 seconds button a couple of
Yeah,
times.
exactly.
And on Twitch,
Exactly.
it's like, well, I guess I have to sit here and like
And
watch the ad or watch the like short thing that they do. But like the short thing doesn't really exist. Like people just like, or there's like, I don't know what, let's watch this new movie trailer for 2 minutes, right? That
Mm.
that also exists. But
Yeah,
there's a
and
big difference on live versus recording.
the funny thing with the recording as well is I think I don't know if it's because I'm in the space and I know this, but usually when you negotiate these things, there's 60-second, 30-second, 60-second, 90-second deals. So I know exactly like when it's the moment I see it on, I'm like, oh, it's going to be 60 seconds. So like you say, it's 15 seconds fast forward. I press it 4 times because I know it's the exact time of the pre roll, and I'm back onto the what I want. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, with the YouTube videos, I like really when the creator makes it very creative and they kind of make a bit out of it. And then I think a lot of people watch it because they like the creator. And if he comes in with like a doodle and there is like a little interaction and the talk and the story behind it and everything, then it gets really interesting. But if they just read down the thing, everybody's skipping forward.
I
Like
think even that's losing its impact because I know like back in the day, it's like, oh, this guy's made it fun. But
yeah.
even now, it's like, all right, whatever, man. Like, I get it. Like, I think Raid Shadow Legends actually helped a lot with this because that's a meme, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you're laughing because you know it's a meme, and it's like we all kind of know it's like, as soon as that comes up, even the consumer doesn't even care anymore. It's like, yo, bro, get your bag. It's legit. We're like, all right, whatever. We're not gonna buy into it, but get your bag. Well done. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
lost
that
so
actually
much of its
changed. Like
effectiveness.
I 4 years ago when I actively did stream, I would not take Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships. I would be like, yeah, I mean, you pay me good amount of money, but this is genuine like net negative growth for me because people are gonna be like, oh fuck this guy, oh fuck this. And it's
And
like,
now
yeah, now it's
you
just a
see
meme.
it
It's
in
like,
the
oh,
comments.
the
It's
guy
like,
has
yo,
to,
get your bag.
yeah.
It
It
went
also
hard.
changed though. People now, I think the average viewer more so understands that person actually needs to make money so they can continue doing their job. That did not used to
Exactly.
be the case.
Exactly. Yeah, I was traveling with our mutual friend. I won't say the name, but like I was traveling with our mutual friend at the start of the year, and a couple of other like IRL streamers, and that was just a meme that we were just joking about. And I was like, oh, you guys amongst your culture, the streaming culture, like that's just a yeah, get your bag. And I was all right. Yeah, things have changed. Things have changed.
How's
Yep.
monetizing been for you, Paz? Like in content creation, you've been doing this like about as long as Tarren, but you didn't stop doing it essentially.
Yeah. Well, it took a while. Like I went up to 800 subscribers pretty fast on YouTube, and then you need 1,000, right? And like for the first 800, it took me like half a year, and then for the last 200, it took me another half a year or even longer. So I don't know. I think I was trying too hard and was looking too much on the numbers and just trying to push towards that goal without like, and my content suffered a little bit on it. And then once I got monetized, I realized it does really not matter because now I'm making what, $20 a month from YouTube. So it really does not matter, and it's negligible. That's my normal fuck up of words. But what I do like is that you can actually create members, and then you can create a little bit of a more intimate connection to your hardcore followers. When you can set up, I think the first membership is 199 or something, so it's really not that much, and then you can make like private videos, like member only videos, and have a little like polls for them what you should do next and what they want to see, and you can do so much stuff with that. So I really like that interaction. But monetization wise, I'm really glad that Illuvium does the content creator rewards, because otherwise I couldn't. Right now I'm doing it full time, but that's only because I cheat the system, because Illuvium lets me cheat the system by
Yeah, don't
just
say that.
paying me out. Well,
Don't
But
say that. Now,
yeah.
let
I'll be
me
honest,
can I
man. Yeah, go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think YouTube, especially like from like my friends, colleagues, and so on, and have sometimes like actually like very successful people on Twitch and on YouTube as well. I think almost nobody actually made money on YouTube. Like everybody
Yeah,
just said, well, YouTube is just to advertise other platforms.
Yeah,
If if
for
if, if
growing.
my YouTube is break even with the money that I put into, that's like cool. But I think for most, even for like people like 10 times bigger streamers than me, they don't actually make money on YouTube. It's like
you.
really bad to monetize.
I,
It's really hard actually.
I actually do. It depends, right? Like
I
I've learned.
depends on the
I've
game and so on as well. Yeah.
actually
Oh, sorry.
okay. This is what I've learned a lot doing this shit, and something that I think people try to monetize too quickly. And I think it's interesting because Viper, the guys that you're talking about, I think would fall into this camp of how to monetize. They just didn't do it properly, and maybe it was early. I don't know. But if it was today, I think it's a different thing. Whereas Paz, I think you're trying to monetize too early.
Yeah.
But Viper, what I think for those guys, it's not just monetizing through AdSense. That's not going to do anything for you. And what a lot of people do is they'll try and find or source deals where it's like, hey, for one video, I'll do a pre-roll. I think what actually makes a lot more sense, and this is the way what I've always suggested to people, especially on YouTube specifically, if you can generate 100,000 views in a month, and I think that's not. I think for the guys that you're talking about, Viper, I think they could have done this. I don't think it was.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what they would do then, what would actually make a lot of sense, is for them to come out with a proposal, because companies pay by impressions, and come out with a proposal, not of a single video, but hey, my channel averages 100,000 views, 150,000 views per month for these last months. The CPM on this would be this much. I would like you to sponsor our thing. I will provide you with 60-second pre-roll in all of my videos, guaranteeing you this amount. So, and actually, once you start doing those numbers at 100,000 at a decent CPM, you could very easily monetize in a pretty healthy way, and you don't need to worry about it because it's just every video that you do, you record. It's a pre-recorded pre-roll. You add it into everything. It's scalable. It's doable, and like I think that's a much better way to do it. But to do that, you need to first get up to at least 100,000 views per month, then understand how to package that proposal to people. This is something that I learned. If you want to ask for a sponsorship, you do not want to ask, oh, you. This is how the conversation is going to be. I am the creator. You are the sponsor. I'm going to give you this, 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 this. How does that sound? The answer should be yes or no. I should not be putting you in a position where you ask more things. What about this? How about that? It is my job as the creator to package the entire thing and give it to you, answer all questions that you should have, and all you need to do then is say yes or no. That is how you actually do it. And I think that's a skill that a lot of people either don't have or just don't know about, or don't understand that's how you proceed in these kind of things.
Yeah, you have to do that with many things in the content creation space. It feels like, for example, if you're collaborating, you never want to like leave any work to the person you're actually reaching out to and want to collaborate with. You want to have the full thing written down. Here's the plan. I'm going to do everything. You just have to join, and you gotta
Like
kind of
I
enjoy
prepared
yourself.
nothing for this
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah.
Well, podcast is luckily a little bit easier on that.
True. No, also
But
what,
yes.
I was referring to was not necessarily like you said, right? You go to a company and get pre-roll ad. I was just mainly referring to like what YouTube pays you for ads, in the sense that
AdSense is
that is
ridiculous.
like nothing. And if you compare that to Twitch, for example, that is like the main income of people. Like the main income is not subs. The main income is not really sponsored. I mean, okay, for some people it's going to be a lot of sponsored content if they are good at getting sponsored content. But then it's also, are they as a person brand friendly enough that they actually can charge high rates? Is their audience in like right countries or right demographics and so on and so on? So sponsored content is also, again, on this perspective when I said about esports, like you don't know, will I get, I don't know, 10 hours of sponsored content every month? Like you cannot guarantee that. But you can be more like, well, I can press this play ad button, and if my viewership doesn't drop by 80%, then I will still have this and this much money. So yeah, that was just essentially the comparison. Like YouTube ads is like, AdSense, like you can forget about
It's
that.
hard.
If you
It's
go
hard,
like but it's very different to like Twitch, right? On Twitch you get a lot on that nowadays, especially.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I was never a Twitch pet. I'm starting to understand a bit more about Twitch, but yeah, it's crazy how different it is.
Yeah, recently I set up my Twitch, and like you said, it suggests that you have like I think at least 3 minutes per hour. That is like the sweet spot where they incentivize you a little bit more and give you. I don't think I can say what they give. I'm not sure.
Probably, I actually don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
actually,
I have a partner contract. I might be breaking stuff then.
No, I haven't looked into that. But I was thinking about, let's just roll 3 minutes an hour. It doesn't matter really. But then I think like, okay, that's going to give me like what, again, 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. And I'm not going to roll that for my 20 to 50 viewers or whatever it is. So like you said, monetize too early. Like I wouldn't do that on Twitch. I've done it on YouTube, but I think it's not so invasive there. It's a little bit more because people have ad block, right? So usually they don't see
Not
that.
anymore. They've stopped the ad blocker thing.
Still
So
works for
if
me though.
Yeah, YouTube is
you
preventing that.
you have an ad blocker on YouTube,
Yeah.
and it doesn't affect. Do you have YouTube Premium?
No, I don't
And
see ads.
it doesn't affect your YouTube at all.
No, still works fine.
Fascinating.
It was like for a little while it didn't work on some browsers, but then it started working again. Because I think I'm not sure why, but yeah.
Because I know they stopped it, and what they did was they increased, if they could track an ad blocker on YouTube, they would increase the bandwidth, so it was just unusable.
Oh.
So YouTube would just be unusable.
Yeah,
Like you wouldn't even be able to load a 144p video. It was just like it was horror. It was at that point, and what's crazy is I'm not struggling for cash. But it was at that point I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm just gonna buy premium. Like I'm not gonna deal with this shit.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? If you pay for Netflix, if you pay for all these other services, ChatGPT, whatever it is, like YouTube actually provides a lot of value. So I can see.
Depending what you watch.
It's the meta. Yeah. Depending how you use it. If you go into shorts, that's double. That's a lose-lose situation.
I think they're improving the algorithm for shorts. Super random. But I've been finding myself on the toilet sitting on shorts for a lot longer than I should be.
Yeah. For me, it's just Instagram because my algorithm is really fine-tuned for what I like. So I see just videos that I really enjoy that I would look up anyway. So I really like that. But the problem I have with it recently is that it changes so fast. For example, a friend of mine got a child, and I'm sending him every time I see like a nice informative like baby video or something, how to teach your kid some cool shit. I'm gonna send it to him. So I sent 3 of them, and now my full thing is full of baby videos. Yeah. Even though I'm not a father, I don't need that yet.
Yeah.
And the same with my girlfriend. She's crocheting, like knitting and stuff like that. And I send her some, and then it's all full of crochet. So yeah, it's a bit moody. But I like the algorithm. I like what you get. We kind of went off topic there. By the way, I wanted to ask you, Viper, for your first story that you told, because you were kind of scared that the game would stop at one point and then your esport earning would stop, right? And that's why you wanted to get more into content creation.
That's like usually most people's perspective, right?
Yeah,
your perspective is not 10 years in the future. This game is gonna, because if you think like how many games do we actually have that have like a 10+ year history, right?
There's like League of Legends, World of Warcraft.
No, I mean, it's like Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, a lot of shooter games.
Yeah, shooters, FIFA, I guess, and that's it.
GTA.
Yeah, like there's a good amount of games, but most of them, like, okay, then let's look in. Okay, what kind of game got released in the last 15 years that is still like as prevalent as it was 15 years ago?
Like new IP, you mean?
Dota's been done well.
Dota and League are Dota 2 and League of Legends are actually like 15-year-ish old games at this point,
roughly.
And I think League is actually 15. It was 2009 came out.
I think Dota was older because I mean Dota 1 was before that.
No, I think Dota 2 is not older than League. I think Dota 2 is
no, Dota 1.
Yeah, I mean, Dota 1 is like far older, right? But that's like not the big streaming or monetizable game or any phase. Like something that's like still around, right? Dota 2 is even like questionable if we say that's like still a big game. Because like if you do esports, sure, but like outside of that, I don't really know.
Yeah.
So like there's League of Legends. Like okay. Then Fortnite, I would assume that Fortnite is going to be around in the future, but it's like far smaller than it was 4 years ago. It's the same with Call of Duty Warzone, for example. Warzone at launch, crazy. And now streamers that I used to watch had like 10K viewers every stream are down to 1,500.
I think even if the game stays big, you don't know if the viewership will stay big. Like Twitch has its own mind to it, I feel like. And because you said that's the natural thing. Like if you are a pro gamer, you always kind of have to be aware that the game could suddenly die, like it did for you with Hearthstone, kind of, right?
And Hearthstone is pretty dead nowadays.
Yeah, and then you said you wanted to get more into content creation to be a little bit more versatile and be ready to adapt and have like a secondary income and whatever.
I mean, but content creation also just makes far more money. That is like the other point. Like you make far more than with like competing.
Yeah, and the other thing is like with competing at one point, like if you play a shooter, like at one point you're just too old. Like your reactions are not going to be up to speed anymore. Where you're a content creator, like Asmongold, I don't know, take some random creator, like they're gonna
looking
stay
at it
in
now.
fashion forever.
Fortnite has dropped at about 40%. Since
Mm.
2000 it peaked around 2019, I think it peaked. 2018 it peaked. And then 2019, 2020, it kind of plateaued and it started to drop. It's about 40% less than
Yeah.
what it was in those years, 50% off its peak.
It's interesting if you look at revenue numbers. Revenue numbers are not really 40% down. Like if they might even
No.
have new highs.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. I think that yeah, it's just the content's gone down slightly, but the game itself is
yeah.
still hyper successful. I think the I know that a couple of the content creators that do cover. I need to give credit where credit's due, but the Epic create supporter creator program that was like one of the first affiliate programs for creators, which was a huge monetization opportunity, which played a massive part in the content doing what it did for Fortnite. But one of the things that they have for that is actually a 2 week expiration on the code. So let's say that I'm a user and Viper, I use your code. After 2 weeks, that expires and I need to put it in again. And they don't prompt me or anything. They just expect me to go in there. So it is a good opportunity for the creators. But I know a lot of the creators now, whether they're just used to it or they're over it and the novelty of the opportunity is worn off, they're like, yo, that's kind of bullshit. So
Sounds a bit
maybe that's
unintuitive, huh?
I mean, it depends how you look at it. From a business point of view, it's very intuitive because they want to try and maximize the profit that they keep for themselves,
Yeah.
which makes complete sense. Which makes complete sense.
They
So I'm
don't
not
need
gonna,
Yeah, they don't need to push for the marketing so much anymore. They don't need like the
yeah,
creators pushing them. Everybody knows Fortnite.
yeah, and yeah. I'm not gonna say anything negative about. I get it. I completely understand why they would make that decision.
Yeah. Um, but what I wanted to get there was earlier when you want to go to content creation, it feels also very similar that you kind of have to go for one game, find your niche, build your audience, and maybe then you can expand to other games. But usually there is also a lot of danger connected to that. Like a lot of players, like if you are a Hearthstone streamer, it's basically the same thing as when you're a Hearthstone pro gamer, right? If the game dies, it's very likely that you
I
die as a
I
content creator.
disagree with your premise. Your premise of it's better to go with one thing. I actually disagree. In today's age, this it's actually not that crazy to
To
build a
start
brand.
as a variety gamer, I think it's way harder than do
As a
one thing.
variety gamer, potentially, but to build a brand and then leverage that, I don't think so. Like you have all of these tools to find what's trending, what's coming up. I know multiple people. I know someone that started a. They do this for fun. They start a brand new channel without any correlation to their current content at all, and they just want to see if they can do it again. It's
Hmm.
completely brand new, no tie to them at all. They'll cover a new game that's coming up, start pumping out content, or start covering a couple of the things that are coming out, and they just get tens of thousands of views. It's not. It's really not that difficult. It's just
But there you just
understanding what
said
the
they focus on one game that's coming out, right?
yeah
And
for a little bit. Like it's legit. They'll come up with or even for example, they'll do something when the gamer awards or something, or like the trailers are all coming out, and they'll cover each game. Like you don't need to stay on one game. It's just find out where the attention is going,
just
and
chase the
then
trend.
yeah, I mean, Hogwarts Legacy, like it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
No, it
I'm sorry,
depends
I
on
would say
it depends on the platform again as well, though, right? Like what you're
correct.
referring to is essentially like that. That's mainly a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to like use Twitch as an example, like that doesn't work because Twitch
Twitch
doesn't
is
have
yeah,
the discovery algorithm things that YouTube has. Like on Twitch, the relevant thing to a great extent is just like have high viewer count and be like on the front page of the thing that you're currently streaming, and that
yeah.
is incredibly beneficial to you. And just yeah, so it's like that's the live streaming and the YouTube recordings and so on. This is just very different.
Do you Viper? Do you think that someone starting out with content, how much should they? Actually, this is a very good question. What? How much attention should they put? How much attention and effort should they put on Twitch compared to YouTube, TikTok,
Very
and
very
all?
little. Twitch
Very
is
little.
like the shittiest one to start with because there's no discovery algorithm, and you're just like deep down in the sewers of viewership numbers because like you make a new channel. Like, why would anyone watch you? It depends a bit. Like
Correct.
if you're a previously just known person from a community of the game or something like that, right? Like maybe you're oh, you're like a known person, right? It's like most of the time there's like high ranked players or something, but maybe you just, I don't do like a lot of content for the community or other things, right? So if you start with like you're gonna start with a viewership actually, then sure, Twitch is not that bad. But if you don't start out with having a community, with having viewer numbers, it's just no, it's like the
It's
shittiest platform by far. You should do like
yeah,
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Like TikTok is like also kind of bad because the conversion
yeah,
of TikTok viewers to anything else is not that good.
yeah.
But like just do like other
But
platforms and invest time into that for sure.
yeah, the only reason that I would suggest that if people want to stream on Twitch, cool. The only time that I would say that makes sense is if you're clip farming. If you're streaming for the sake of creating vertical things with like
Yeah,
ATIB vertical and all of these things where you just press a button and it clips out things. I mean, when we used to stream Viper, and we used to do those Left 4 Dead things, like in 1 hour or 2 hours of that, I'd have 40 or 50 clips. That makes sense
yeah,
because then you put
yeah,
those
yeah.
clips on TikTok or YouTube, and that starts to farm your
Yeah, I mean
kind.
that's just
That's
like
your
you
advertising.
creating content. You just like do the streaming thing on the side,
Correct.
basically.
It's a way of yeah creating that advertising. But otherwise, if you think that you're just going to jump into the content thing and just go straight into streaming, cool, enjoy it, but you're not going to get anything out of it. It
Yeah,
makes
because there's
Yeah,
7 million other guys in there with also 0 viewers, and it doesn't work anymore. Put in the hours, just grind and sit there for. I mean,
yeah,
it worked for
100%.
Chinksy, right? He's been streaming 2 years with 0 viewers, or 1 viewer, or 2 viewer, and now he's, I think, one of the biggest top 3 or something streamers in the world, which is crazy. But that's like I've watched
That's
some
not
like
the norm. You
no,
can't
you
base
yeah, but there's
your
like
actions
also
off the
6 million
exception.
people that made
yeah,
nothing.
that
Yeah,
shouldn't be your
you
goal.
can't.
Like if you wanna have like your inspiration streamer on the wall, it should be some top 1,000 guy or top 10,000 guy who can like pay his bills and do this as a living, because this is way more likely to happen than being the next big one-time streamer there.
I think top 10K can't pay their bills.
Yeah, I think one
Yeah,
top 1,000 is kind of the cutoff to make a living.
it really depends, man. Like I say, there are ways to monetize. You just need to do it properly.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Like you can be like 50 viewers and make more than somebody that has 500 if you know how
Yeah,
to just like
exactly,
genuinely get good sponsored deals and things like that. You genuinely know how to
exactly.
market yourself. Also, it depends on again like how brand friendly you are, right?
Yeah,
Like you can. I mean, in recent years, in League of Legends, right? You talk that's like one of the biggest games. Is League the biggest game? Probably
one of top five at
it might
least.
still be on Twitch. Like just
I think
chatting
it's
is
the
obviously
biggest, yeah.
bigger, but
Especially right now with MSI. I watched like a crazy reel the other day, which is the biggest stream numbers, and Fortnite took over League like a few years ago, but since then League is just on top.
it's
Then
back. Yeah.
GTA came for a while, but League is just consistently top one, top two, and sometimes somebody jumps on top
League
with
is
GTA or
number
whatever.
take away just chatting. League is number 5 in the last 365 days.
What is above League?
Fortnite, Valorant, just chatting, Apex, GTA.
All right, fuck that reel.
Apex incredibly surprises me.
Apex is still Apex is number 4, bro. It's just
Interesting.
under just chatting. Yeah,
That's
Apex
crazy.
is still crazy. Yeah,
That is wild, but yeah, well, still on the league and brand friendly example. I mean, we in a recent podcast episode where we talked about like the in-game culture, right? Like people just saying like horrendous, crazy things that you would probably get sued for in like my country, for example. Then just say in-game at the end, or maybe not even say in-game, whatever. Like if you're that streamer, right? And there's a good example like Dantes, I think, is an incredible example of like somebody who actually just put insane amount of work into streaming and like made it happen, right? And he has thousands of viewers, but he's like also one of the most advertiser unfriendly persons. So he probably can't go to the average company and get a good sponsorship deal with them, right? He gets sponsorship deals by people who are not really caring about this I don't know, children-friendly content or something like that, right? So that it's certainly far harder for him to monetize all of that, what he's like accomplished, compared to some random guy that's like 1/10 his viewership, but is super, super brand friendly, right? The
That's
same
crazy.
for like a lot of similar people like him, especially in League, if they come from like the old times from gaming, where it's just like, I don't know, you're like less nice, or just use like a less nice, less
Yeah,
like
just flaming.
politically correct, whatever language nowadays. Yeah, I mean, flaming is like too nice a word as well, but for that, right? And that like changes a lot for you, and it's also changed the perception, right? Because when I hear some of them talk about sponsored content stuff on stream, for example, they assume far lower rates that people get than they actually get when they are brand friendly people, from what I know, because they just themselves probably never get that, which is a crazy difference.
I never thought that, like, for example, Dantes, which I understand that he doesn't get a lot of like sponsorship deals and people want to advertise on his channel. But I thought at this point, when you're this big and have this much of a like captivating personality, where he has like a lot of like tribe following behind him, that he would just make a lot of money just from subscribers. So I was
Oh, he obviously makes a good amount of money, right? But he doesn't play ads on stream, I think, except for like the Twitch pre-roll stuff. I don't know how many subs he actually has, and he also invests crazy amounts into content creation, right? Like he invests tens of thousands into making YouTube videos and shorts and all that stuff. He's like all the trips, right, to Brazil, to Europe, to Korea, and so on.
Mm,
He actually puts a lot of the money he makes back into stuff, and he makes probably like 1/10 of what he could be making if he would just have like more sponsor content stuff and would be playing ads on Twitch, right?
yeah, I was just
Like,
surprised earlier when you
yeah,
said that it's more about actually ads, even for big
he
streamers, than
obviously
it's
makes a lot of
for
money. Like,
subs.
he obviously makes a lot of money, but he makes like probably 1/10, 1/5 of what he could be making.
Hmm.
Which obviously like it's probably a lot of. I don't know how many offers he actually gets, right? But he does very little sponsor content, the same as like a lot of his friend group, right? The people in Brazil right now. I think Tarren doesn't do a whole lot of sponsor content. Yamato Staff doesn't do that a whole lot as well. So I assume they would just do it if they had more offers, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you could say he would make way more money if he was like advertiser friendlier, but then he wouldn't be what he is, right? Like his
Yeah,
brand
no,
is around being a
that is a wrong conclusion, right? Like
yeah.
he would not have this viewership then. Like
Yeah.
he made his viewership on like in-game Dante saying crazy stuff.
That's a good point on how you can like monetize in so many different ways. You can actually just be toxic all the time and build a following from that.
It'd be
Like
funny all the time,
yeah, or be funny or combination. Be
which is
Tyler
being
One, be
toxic all the
Jimbo.
time.
Agreed.
Agree. Tarren should start talking about fucking yordles.
Yo, I
What?
can't right now.
What?
Not right now.
Dante's, the Dante's way of life.
How did you get into content creation, Taryn? You said, did you do something
Honestly,
before Illuvium?
did I do something before Illuvium?
Like
Yes.
content creation wise?
Yeah, actually. So I don't know if this is public knowledge or not, but I actually used to be a dancer and a dance teacher.
Oh yeah.
So that was my first introduction to content in terms of editing dance videos and things like that. And I also used to produce music for fun on the side. So that helped me understand sound and understand that kind of things. So honestly, why I started content for Illuvium or on YouTube was I saw everyone that was out there covering Illuvium and all the other crypto like games and stuff like that. And the competitive spirit of me was like, bro, none of you guys know how to edit videos. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna come in and just beat you guys. Like, I want to show you guys how it's actually done. I'm gonna just go crazy with it. And then
Mm,
yeah, I just started. I was just like, hey, I think that I can provide value in because I think a lot of people at the time, especially around Illuvium, was providing informative content, but not good content. And
mm.
what I mean by that, it wasn't edited properly. It was just like very low effort. And I was like, hey, I'm just gonna come in. I know I'm well spoken. I can come in, provide the same value, if not better, plus make it entertaining with like proper edits because I understood how to edit videos. I understood the timing of sound and things like that. And yeah, that's why I just came in because I wanted to beat everyone else. Like I wouldn't even pretend and lie to you. That's what pushed me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a similar approach where I think the first Illuvium video I saw was a Vetamore video interviewing
Yeah.
Kieran. And I was like,
Oh,
dude, this guy has 1,500 followers and he's interviewing the CEO of this really cool looking game. Maybe I could one day interview the CEO of like, I
crazy.
could maybe do this. Like, it doesn't seem impossible if this like small creator, he kind of had one of the best, like quality wise in the early days. I feel like it was one of the best, but still, it
I
seemed
disagree,
beatable,
but
or
fair.
it seemed like I could do this or I could do it better, like similar to what you said. And yeah, I hadn't had the chance to interview Grant yet. That's way off my list. But my three goals when I came into it was interview the three Warwicks, and I
Yeah.
ticked two of those boxes already. So that's cool.
Yo, I love how like your perspective on life changes. Like I remember because it was a similar thing to like I won't say it's a similar thing,
Mm.
but I remember like when Kieran followed me on Twitter, I was like, oh my, like I was gassed back in the day. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god. And now, like behind the scenes, me and Kieran are just cussing each other out. And like I went to his wedding, and I'm like, bro, things change very quickly.
You're like the one person who I hear him giving the most banter and shit, like when you're in voice or whatever. It's
Oh, bro,
lovely.
we legit cuss each other out all
Yeah.
the time behind the scenes. It's yeah, but no, it's just funny how yeah. I think doing it's just fun, man. Like legitimately, it's just fun doing content. You learn some stuff. You make friends. It's cool. You never know what happens. I think just doing anything, whether it's content or not.
Yeah.
I just think content is, but it's stressful. I won't lie. Like Viper, you probably have dealt with this the most out of any of us, bro. You need to have like an iron, not an iron mind, but the amount of just. I'll give you guys an example, and this is hilarious. So obviously you guys know when I first came into it, I'm very Australian and I swear a lot. I have a lot of bravado. I remember mine and Kieran's AMA, like we were just cussing. I didn't even realize because we were speaking so naturally that I was like, oh, this is normal. And then I had a couple of people say that, yo, you guys were swearing the whole time. I went back and watched some of it. We were swearing every third or fourth word. It was absolutely insane. And I was like, what is going on? And so I've been told a couple of times by various people on the team, hey, you now represent the team, chill out with the cussing. And I stopped making content because I was like, hey, look, I just don't want to provide any ammunition or any opportunity where I could let that side come out. So I stopped cussing. And I do this thing with Scariox every week to get the download. And a lot of the comments on those videos are, hey, we love you, Scariox, but why do you bring on this TSG guy? He swears too much, or like
No
just
way.
this and that.
For real?
Yeah. It doesn't.
Hey,
it doesn't
Skurx is
affect
like
me.
the
He's like the family friendly
good guy YouTube
Yeah.
viewer audience. Yeah.
Correct. I think me and him have a very different way that we present ourselves. But regardless, I don't care. It's fine. It's his channel. But what's funny is, so that was when I was cussing and going all like I was not even crazy. It's just who I was. But I've started to present myself in a more professional manner, even the way that I speak, the pacing of it, the words that I use. It's a little bit more calculated these days. And it's funny because I saw there was another comment on one of his videos recently, and I was like, dude, I never look at comments. Let me go back and look at the last couple of comments. And now the comments are, yo, what happened to TSG? He used to have so much energy. He's so boring now. And I'm like, bro, you can never
It
win.
used to be fun.
No, you can't win.
Yeah, it's like
You
you used to be fun. So it's like, if you get into the content, understand not everyone's gonna like you. You have to deal with that. Like, you need to just, again, I laugh about it because I'm like, bro, you don't know. Like, none of these people know me. They don't pay my bills. Like, I don't care what your opinion is of me. But yeah, like, if you do get affected by that, be prepared because there's gonna be a lot of that. Whether it's how you look, how you sound, they will pick on every single stupid thing that doesn't make any impact. Some people will say they want you to swear. Some people say they don't want you to swear. You need to tell some people just to be quiet. And me saying be quiet is my professional way of saying that.
No, I 100% agree. I think you need to like figure out what is your personal brand and then just like actually stick to that and not be guided by like, oh, I'm going to try to make everybody happy because like, I mean, that's never going to work anyways. So like, that's like a thing. People oftentimes used to be like, oh, Viper, I don't like this music, or make it louder, make it quiet. I'm like, just fucking leave. Like, I don't care. Like, I like to listen to what I want to listen to. I like to make the content that I would personally watch as well. You don't like it, just leave. And
I was in the stream when that happened. That was the
Just come
best
back
moment.
tomorrow then. It's legit like, yo, you don't need to. Just if you don't like it today, come back tomorrow. Maybe it's better music that you like. Who cares, bro? The weather is hot sometimes, the weather is cold sometimes. If you don't
Mm,
want to go out, stay inside. You have an option. You don't want to eat burgers today, go get pizza. You have options. Like you don't need to go into the pizza shop and say, why don't you sell burgers? That's not their thing. Go to the pizza place when you want to, go to the burger place when you want to.
yeah,
I think it's just entitled, man. People are just way too
Yeah.
entitled and think that you owe them something, and that's if anyone wants to get into content, expect it, and I won't say don't let it mess with you because it will affect you. I mean, Viper, you've
of
heard
course.
me. Uh, I mean, we have a pretty good relationship, and I've kind of let loose a couple of times behind the scenes. It affects us all, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to, yeah, push
And
through.
I was in the stream when that happened or when it happened one time. Somebody came in and he's like, this music is shit. Like I like you, but this music is shit." And it's like, dude, you come here every day and you give some negative comment. Like, why do you even do that? What do you want to achieve? Like, if you don't like the stream, just leave. I'm not gonna change for you. And it helped me learn a lot about streaming and everything because I'm very new to this. You're very experienced with it already. And what I noticed when I started YouTube, I had like a few. I think it's very easy to get one guide because I had like some comments like, "Oh, we put this on in the living room and me and my wife watch it," or "Me and the kids watch your content and we enjoy it so much." And then I instantly started to think, "Oh shit, kids are watching me. I can't cuss anymore, right? I
I
have to
never
be
can. I
I have
never
to be
can.
child friendly." And then I started to
Oh,
force myself to stop cussing, and it didn't feel good, right? When you have that moment where it's just like fuck that shit, and you cannot say it, and you're like,
I it I think it depends on the intention. Like I won't say, "Oh, I feel bad that I can't cuss." Look, I can't speak as freely as I would like to, but I understand that I do have a responsibility that if Illuvium does blow up and people do come in, they can't just be clipping out something of, "Hey, this team member is speaking in this." Like I can
yeah, for
understand that,
sure.
right? I
Also,
mean,
like
Kieran gets
Grant
a
and
free
Kieran had to
pass.
change, right? Because they were
No,
always
they
no,
have
they
to,
didn't.
but do they? No.
They
And they
did.
get a free pass because they are
Yeah.
I get it, right? Like I can't
yeah.
be held to the same standard as them. I can't say Kieran can cuss. That's
No,
an
but they improved a
insane
lot.
comparison. No, they
Like if you,
haven't. No, they
well,
haven't.
to the beginning videos, man. Like, I don't
No,
know.
they
If I watch
haven't.
an AMA now with Kieran, it's way more child friendly. Feels like.
Nah, no chance. It depends who he's talking to. If it's someone that's like Brand, I guarantee you, if I was speaking to Kieran again,
All
I
right.
guarantee you it would be the exact same. Even if I didn't cuss, he would be. I guarantee it. You
It's
see it
like
when he's in the Discord voice. It's funny because like I think during before PvP, this was hilarious. But before PvP, we had like a team member, core contributor tournament that we streamed to the Discord, and I accidentally cussed publicly, and I had like Grant messaging me. He's like, "Bro, don't cuss," and I was like, "Yeah, my bad, my bad. It just came out." And then like the next thing, Kieran just cussing out left, right, center in the same call, and I was like, "Bro, what? How can you? What's going on?" Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah,
no, it's
good
it's
time.
funny,
Now they
right?
haven't
But
improved.
it's like similar for me to like a great extent. I mean, to some extent in the past, right? Like I just sponsorship deals, right? I have like the Grandmaster League thing with Blizzard and so on. So like, okay, I'm representing like Blizzard to some extent. I'm representing these sponsors to some extent. Like I just accept that I can't speak as freely as I would want
Yeah,
to anymore because I'm representing someone else. I'm not only representing myself. It's like
correct.
similar with IMC right now as well. Like I think it's like less an issue for Pass because Pass is more on the family friendly side of things, and I would be more the like Tarzan Dante. I mean, not Dante. He's like there's like some different level, but I'd be more like this like toxic league player kind of personality, like the sweaty tryhard, actually serious person playing that stuff.
Yeah,
Like I can't really one-to-one do that, like not to the extent that I would naturally do it, because I'm like, okay, I'm IMC, I actually do represent the DAO, so I should not have people just like have really bad out of content clips. That's not a good thing.
and and I think that's why actually me and you as well. Like again, we have a good relationship, and that's why behind the scenes in DMs will kind of let loose and vent a little bit because I can't be cussing people out in the Discord.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't either. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's another
it's
topic, right? Like Discord is
yeah.
like very different. Like it also depends on the platform, right? Like I think Discord is different to YouTube. I think that's different to live streaming. It's different to like Twitter and so
Mhm.
on. Especially like the written platforms. It's like like don't use like words that people can be like, I don't know, out of context, screenshot,
Yeah,
go viral. It's like,
yeah.
oh, there's like somebody can maybe find like a Twitch clip or something. It's like, well, nobody's gonna watch like a 60-second video. That's not gonna go negative viral or whatever. And also you can like go plus 5 seconds in each direction usually, and then it's like, it's not like what
It
it
adds
actually
context.
is and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to just like one sentence in like a text chat. I think that's a really big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. And I've been pretty lucky with like people like hate directed towards me, because I had like a few haters.
That's
You'll
so
probably
surprising.
You're a nice guy. Like you're not gonna
Yeah,
have
so
like
surprising.
you're not gonna have people like hating on you like I had. Like people
I was
try to
gonna say,
like
yeah.
cancel. People try to cancel me multiple times. They have like some deep hatred, and I don't even know who they are.
I
That's
don't
like
I
know.
was gonna,
that's the
yeah. I
crazy thing.
think,
Like I don't even
yeah.
know who they are. Like I literally is like complete no name to me. I'm just some random person, and they like dedicate good parts of their life trying to like I don't know, impact my life negatively.
Well, I
It's
had
that's
that. People
insane.
wanted to. They were all about me for weeks, and then they got just
Oh, wow.
kicked out of the Discord because they are just
Oh,
pieces of
yeah.
shit,
I know who
right?
you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
And
that yeah. Okay, yeah.
like, but
Uh-huh.
not in like, other than that, I'm good. And I feel like maybe there's this one guy who just wants to hate, and I can ban him, and it's good. And I have a really easy time just removing negativity from my life, because I don't want to lose energy on that. But I'm a bit scared once you get like, if I ever manage to get like, I don't know, a little bit bigger, where you just have a percentage of your following is going to be haters, and how that is going to be affecting you. Like, I
It just
don't
is
think.
what it is,
Just don't
man.
care about it. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
ignore
yeah,
them.
you gotta
Like,
just tough them
they're
up
just
and
jealous
ignore
that
it.
you actually accomplished something that they don't. That's just the story to it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like just make fun of the like. I mean, my take
Yeah.
would be just make fun of them. Like use them for more content.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I made so many drama things, like calling people out and trying to show how stupid they are chatting about some things or what they are saying. But then every time I didn't upload it because I didn't want
I mean, I think
to talk about
there's
it.
like
I'm
two
a
ways
big
to that, right?
fan of public shaming. I
Yeah,
know a
Yeah,
lot of people
same.
will disagree with it, but I'm a big fan of it.
me too.
There's
But I
two
And
never
ways,
knew
right?
if I wanted to pull the trigger on it.
No, but you can do either like what the Andrew Tate way of things, where it's just like make it for the clip, the content, just make the like outrageous or extreme statement, and don't really elaborate a whole lot on it or whatever. Or you can do the Jordan Peterson way, where you just make a bunch of rational, factual statements, and like, what's
yeah,
the other person gonna do? Like,
yeah,
of
Yeah,
course, it's like not gonna be as viral, clickbaity, and whatever, but like that's especially like in the Illuvium niche in this sense. Just like do that's what I like my take on this is nowadays.
correct.
I just make a rationally correct statement where somebody can be like, oh, you used like a mean word, like you said this group of people acts in a Machiavellian or narcissistic way, and that is like mean towards them. It's like, okay, then look up the definitions. It is just a correct example of
Yeah,
what I said. Like you can say it sounds mean to you, you can say that you feel offended or whatever you can make up, your feelings are hurt. But like if you feel described by this is the textbook definition of this negative personality trait. Therefore, it's not on me that this is it's
yeah.
just like a factual statement. Like you can say I could have phrased it nicer. I mean, why? Like why not
I love
use the
using.
fitting word? I don't know.
Yeah, I love using the Socratic method, where someone will make, and this I publicly shame using showcasing their lack of lack of logic, their inconsistency of logic. So I'll ask them like to make a statement of what their premise is. I'll say, "What's your premise?" They'll say it, and then I say, "Okay." I ask again. So this is exact. I want to make sure I understand. This is what you mean. Then they'll say yes, or they'll change the subject, and then I'll just ask them again. This is what you mean? Yes. Okay. Then I'll use the same logic in a different scenario, which I know they're going to be inconsistent in, and then they're going to be like, no, that's like we can't do that. So I'm like, okay, so what you're saying isn't true then, and I'll do this publicly, and people realize that like it's not a good way because it looks like bullying, and I've been told this from people inside the team as well. But I'm like, bro, that's how I was learned. Like that's how I was taught. You need to be shown that you're wrong in front of people, public shaming. But
yeah.
again,
There's not many better ways to do it. Like, I've seen you do it, and I was like, I'm glad somebody's doing it, because he won't shut the fuck up without somebody telling him in a nice
But,
way
yeah.
to do it, in a logic way, like defeating him in his own battle, kind of thing.
And the thing is, they still won't understand it. Like that's the thing
Yeah,
that
no,
baffles me.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you feed it to them 1 + 1 = 2. They're like 4. Like they just refuse to answer. Like, okay, cool. It sometimes honestly makes me wonder if I'm the crazy one. I'm like, yo, am I the one that's like illogical? Like, am I the
No,
one? Like, I don't understand.
I can relate to that because I don't know. Maybe this is like some extent. I have this like mathematical perspective on things. I'm like, okay, these are just the arguments. This is just how it rationally is. You cannot disprove what I'm saying. Therefore, you should obviously be admitting that what you said is wrong.
But they
And
just
people
don't.
don't
Yeah.
do that, and
They're
like it's
refuse.
just like so unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And that's also part why I like when these like discussions. I mean, it's more of like an Illuvium thing because there's like more like governance topics and so on, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, I never go like the people like let's go to the M like no, like you're just gonna take out of context
Yeah.
whatever thing and try to use it
Never.
again. Like no, I just like we're gonna talk about this publicly. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
other people can like see what you're saying here.
Yeah.
I think that is the correct way of handling that as well, especially if you're like a semi-public person. Like, I mean, you're like representing Illuvium, personally, or doing content and accounts and so on. Like, it just like there's nothing wrong with being transparent, right? Transparency
Yeah.
is a positive thing. So just like give people context if you have a let's say disagreement, right? And then just stay calm and stay rational and just keep arguing because like maybe the person you're not like most of the time it's not really the person you're like talking to that's like relevant. It's the people that are listening and seeing it.
They're observing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the person that's speaking to you, like you say, they'll refuse to
Yeah, they just have like
acknowledge.
some emotional take or opinion
Yeah.
and they just refuse to accept like a different reality or whatever. It's like, okay, fine, like whatever. There's no sure.
There's no winning. Like there's no getting through. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, let me just present this idea as logically as possible, as sound as possible, so that those observing can understand what a sound argument is compared to a highly emotional
Yeah, that's like the
barrage
same.
of
That's like the
words
thing that
together.
like on the same social media thing, right? Like you can just make the sound argument. Of course, they're gonna be people that just hate you for the point because they disagree, because they emotionally disagree, or for personal reasons they disagree, or whatever. There's always gonna be people that disagree with you, and it's the same as you look up reviews on like Google reviews on a restaurant or something, right? Like people are gonna go there, and the 100 people are gonna be happy. One person's gonna be unhappy. The unhappy person's gonna write the review. The 100 happy people are just gonna go home. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. If people have no solution to the problem that they have, and the only thing that they can do is like shout about it, and they also have a lot of free time on their hand because they have nothing else to do, and they're just gonna go to social media and cry about it, or like Discord or Reddit or like whatever other platform there is. Especially if they just can't find a solution to it.
Yeah.
It's like
That's the problem I had with not wanting to make content around drama or like publicly shaming people, because I felt like they're gonna get a hard on from all the attention they're getting now. Because a lot of people, it feels like they do it for that reason. So
it's not like I think publicly shaming is like a negative connotation way of saying this, right? Like you're just pointing out reality to other people, right? Like especially there's a difference between winning a
I
debate and a discussion,
yeah.
right? Like in a debate, I if I'm knowledgeable about the topic, I can probably convince anyone of anything. If they're just like not knowledgeable on it, because for example, I could know there's a counter argument to what I'm saying, but it just sounds convincing. I just say it, the other person believes it, and you
Yeah.
just point out, well, that is untrue. Like you're not shaming the person for like being stupid or anything like that. Like you can at the point where where they refuse to admit 1+1 is 2, you can be like, well, you just admit you just don't admit the reality that is
Yeah.
like
yeah,
wrong. But up until then, you're like not shaming. You're just like you
You're
could say
you're
you're
just
educating
presenting an idea.
someone, then you can
You're
say,
you're just
oh, that's
highlighting. You're
yeah,
highlighting a flawed argument. That's what you're doing.
yeah.
And the shaming comes when they even after proof they are
comes
unable
from
to
other
acknowledge the
people.
flaw. When
Yeah,
they're
no,
like,
I mean you
well,
can like if somebody says 1+1 is 3, I would publicly shame them for saying, well, they said 1+1 is 3. That you should ridicule that, right? That is why memes are such a powerful tool nowadays, right? That's why, especially in like in any kind of election or any kind of like internet opinion battle or whatever, the site that just makes the better memes that are essentially factually correct but highlighting something in a funny way, right? That's what we used to call a satire and a lot of comedic elements. That just is a good way of getting something to people,
True.
right?
That is very true.
So that is like, yes, you're ridiculing some person that probably is I don't know, ideology agenda driven, or I don't know, stupid, maybe ignorant, narcissistic, crazy. I don't know, right? Like sure, but you're making it in a factually correct way, and then in a funny way as well. And those are two very good things. It's factually correct and it's funny, then it's gonna go viral, right?
That's all you need. Started with Donnie going viral.
I really wonder who Donnie was, man.
We still don't know. Yeah, I was about to say,
Donnie should Donnie. If Donnie is listening to this, you should actually make like content, like make a YouTube channel or something like that, or go stream on Twitch with like the Donnie picture in the corner or something. It would be really funny.
Yeah, it
We
was
actually
good
don't know,
content.
right?
By the
Yeah,
way,
it
for
was.
people who don't know who Donnie is, he is a Illuvium personality that popped up on Twitter, new account, and made like meme content
And
about
he's disappeared. He's disappeared.
he got banned from Discord after that because everybody was liking his stuff except the people who the content was about, because he was kind of like very funny, making fun of those people, and he got banned and he disappeared, sadly. It was
He
it was
made an
nice. It was
impact.
very creative, very new, very fresh.
He will be missed.
Yeah, he'll come back under another name, Marco.
It's like Batman. We just need the Donnie sign.
yeah.
It was good stuff. Tarren, I was wondering, can we talk about where you live, and not like specifically, but the country and stuff like that?
I mean, what do you want to ask?
So you live in China, right? And I was wondering if do you have any problems with social media there, that stuff is banned, or that you cannot use anything, or can you use from Facebook to Kick to Rumble? Not that you want
It's
to use that, but
without a VPN, Facebook, so Meta apps as well as Google apps are blocked. But once you get a VPN, it's all
it's all
everything's
good.
fine.
But Tarren, aren't VPNs illegal in China?
You are able to access them. So I believe, actually, I don't, correct me if I actually don't know if this is true. I think it's illegal to download in China, but if you have it pre-downloaded and then you come into China, you're okay. It's the same thing with like crypto, where you're not allowed to buy or sell crypto in China, but you are able to hold the asset. So yeah, there are workarounds. China is a great country.
Yes.
And
It's so
I actually
cool.
mean that. I actually genuinely mean that. I've been here for like 10 years. I genuinely love China.
It's crazy to hear, because all I hear from my country,
It's fake.
from all
I
the
guarantee
shit,
you it's fake.
like it's all like really bad stuff, like really like
It's very stupid.
sensationalism.
Yes. The idea that, and I'm so glad my brother's going to come visit me at the in a couple of months, and he's one of those people. He's like, bro, I don't want to go there. I don't know what it's like. And I see like so many. This is the thing that baffles me. There's a lot of hyper intelligent people that I trust their opinion on a lot of things, and then they start speaking about China. I'm like, yo, you guys are just so way off. It makes me have to guess, like second guess everything else you guys are saying. But they'll say things where it's like, yo, if you jaywalk in China, you lose social credit. Bro, I jaywalk every day. We don't have a social credit. That is not a real thing in the majority of cities. Maybe in some very China is a huge place with a huge population. In some very small cities, they do have a form of a social credit score. Yes, absolutely. Is that the majority or even close to the majority? Nowhere close. You're able to do whatever you want, man. It's really not that crazy. And the whole idea of, oh, you can't speak against the government. If you are a celebrity and you are speaking against it, yeah, you might get some issues. But I mean, that's the case in most countries. If you get to a point where you're powerful enough and you start speaking against the powers that be, you are going to get something coming your way. We see that all around the world. We see that with Russell Brand in England. Like we see that with like I won't say the names, but we see that around the world many times. So I don't think that's an issue. In terms of in universities, there's heaps of people in China here that speak. The university students are very much against the government. That's They're very open with it. Like it's not a crazy thing that like, you're not allowed to say it, bro. You're allowed to say things. It's fine. If you start causing a nuisance and start like rioting and stuff or start protesting, again, they want law and order. So if you're protesting against it, they're going to come down on you. But that's expected. It's nothing crazy.
So we have Tiananmen Square then. Okay.
If somebody,
it's not great, but it happens. Yeah, for sure.
if somebody's pointing a gun at you right now, just blink in the next 5 minutes 2 times.
No, dude, I want to live here.
Hashtag sponsored by Winnie the Pooh.
Sponsored Winnie the Pooh. No, I genuinely love it here, man. Life is good.
And the only time I heard something positive about China, and I don't think like people are uninformed or anything, we're just brainwashed in the Western world to hate China. I feel like that's how it feels.
Even the idea, this is the one that pisses me off because it's so incorrect. TikTok in China only shows educational and inspiring content. That is the biggest load of bullcrap. We have sexy ladies dancing on TikTok, the same bullcrap. It's all over the place here on TikTok, on WeChat. It's the same things. It's like you don't see the drugs aren't highlighted, but the same sexualization of women. It's the same thing. It's not only inspirational shit. It's really crazy. I'll scroll. I don't even use WeChat like that. I don't scroll through WeChat. But I was just looking at it one of these like a couple days ago, actually, for the first time ever, because I don't use it like that. And every third video that was being suggested to me was just like sexy women. And I was like, bro, what the hell is going on? This doesn't happen in China. Yes, it does. In abundance. They're not teaching us how to be engineers. That's not what happens.
Yeah, you're not Indian.
I am actually.
Yeah. It's like the India meme, right? Like, India has a lot of people like learn to be engineers, right?
Yeah,
actually, they go to
the top
tech in the world. India to do that.
Top tech in the world. But it's a safe country, dude. I've lost my. I'll tell you, I've lost my passport on a train, and the train went from one side of the country to the other. My passport, bro, a foreign passport in China, it got delivered back. It got delivered to my house. No one touched it. They got it back to me, bro. What? I asked you guys, if you lost your passport on public transport in your country and it went halfway across the country, could you get it back? No chance.
No
I
way.
put money on it, 0 chance.
Yeah, but
I told my wife. I legit told my wife. I was like, it's gone, because my perception is the West. I was like, it's gone. No way. She's like, no, we'll get it back. I was like, don't even try and get my hopes up. It's gone. I swear to God. 3 days later, delivered to my door. 3 days later, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I never heard that China was like dangerous or a high criminality rate. That was not a stereotype I heard. So
that's Western big cities nowadays.
Yeah. And even, dude, I just in the trip that I told you that I went with our mutual friend Viper. My first day there, we got off the bus and it was super cold. It was snowing and stuff. So my wife left the suitcase with my laptop, and my laptop was my whole life because that was my job. Everything was in my laptop. Left it on the side of the road. We ended up taking the taxi to the hotel. I was like, hey, where's my bag?
Wow,
lost it.
That's scary.
The day that I landed there, guess what happened? 2 hours later, delivered to the hotel.
You had like a tag on it with your name or something?
No, we just went to the police station. They have the cameras there. They were able to see, the guy brought it back onto the bus. He went back to the airport, called the airport, up. Hey, we need it delivered here. Done. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will never say there are some bad things about China for sure. The internet and the VPN thing is one of them. Like very simple things are very annoying to do. But apart from that, nah, man, life is excellent out here. Convenient, safe, low cost of living. I don't understand what kind of freedom people want here that they don't think they can get. I say whatever I want, do whatever I want. I don't understand.
And the only
but maybe I do have a gun pointed at my head. I don't know, but I don't see it.
I think he has, guys.
I don't see it.
Yeah, the only time I heard something good about China, like honestly good, was from my parents who actually went to China, like, I don't know, 30 years ago or something, like a long time ago, when it was still very old school, I think. And yeah, they said like they are like the cowboys of Asia, the rock and rollers of Asia, and really cool and also open. And yeah, I don't remember exactly what they said.
I would never say they were open. I would
never
say
open that went too far, but I remember cowboys in my head. I don't know why, but
but yeah, like I said, my brother's coming in June. My brother and my dad are coming for the first time to China, and I'm gonna make sure that they have a killer time. I want to show them what like because everyone's got this crazy idea of what it is, and I'm like, yo, you guys are gonna bro, right next door to me, out of my window, right here is a luxury mall. Life is good out here, bro. Like
I mean,
it's genuinely good.
it's always not a poor country if you like live
Yeah,
in the cities, right? Like if you live in rural, like the rural areas and whatever, then it's like very very poor. But
yeah.
yeah,
It really depends, right? Because like I can go into like the history lesson of China and stuff, but the biggest thing is people get confused with China is communist. It is not. It is absolutely not. There was a guy before, so it was. I won't go into the history lesson, but there was a guy before Xi, and his name was Deng Xiaoping. He was the one that opened up China to the rest of the world. So internally, there are some socialist slash communist kind of things that happen. But externally, purely capitalist, and even internally is capitalist. But there are things like education. There are things like healthcare. The cost of healthcare is very very low because it's subsidized by the government. So what they do is they use external capitalism to fund China's socialist policies and things like that. But communism, it's not really communist anymore.
I
Like
mean
not the way it's
that's
communist in
like
name only.
yeah, that's like the only way like any of these like
It
systems can
works.
pseudo work. Like you have to
Correct.
have like this like just because it's just inefficient, right? So, and if you want to finance something inefficient, you have to be very rich. Therefore, you have to make money. Like I would
Yeah.
certainly argue that. I mean, I live in Germany. Germany is certainly like to a great extent like socialist leaning, like a lot of really inefficient government controlled bullshit stuff that's especially over recent years happening. And well, why could Germany afford to do all of the inefficient, economically speaking, things that probably also did not increase the quality of life for people, more to the other side, because obviously they ruined the economy to a great extent, but because it was a rich country before, at least.
Yeah.
Now it's like on a downtrend. Well, it is what it is. And it's like a lot of other countries do the same, right? Like the things that are just communist, like inside and outside. I mean, then you have like North Korea, where the clothing size is extra small for everybody outside of Kim Jong Un with the extra large, or like Cuba or and so on, right? Like the actual communist things, like it just ends in like
It doesn't.
civil war, starvation, essentially.
Yeah.
And like I mean, China's probably. I mean, China had like wars and starvation periods, but that is not the current reality.
That
It's
that
not
was
too far
before.
along though. Yeah,
That's what I was saying. So like a
yeah,
lot of people don't know the history of it, but that was before the guy that I mentioned, Deng Xiaoping. So it was
yeah.
everyone
I mean, Mao
knows
was like the biggest like genocide person
exactly.
in all of history, pretty much because of
But
that.
what's crazy as well, like again, like what if you do the research and do the history, Mao was great for China. 100%, without a doubt, for the first half of his reign. And then it became unsustainable. A lot of bad shit happened and things kind of collapsed. But he was very much needed before that. Which yeah, it's interesting. History is very, very interesting. I definitely I won't go into hyper political shit, but even like understanding the history of where Taiwan actually came from, who the people of Taiwan are. Like I didn't know any of this shit. I was very much like, oh, it's a separate country. And now that I've done a bit more research, I'm like, oh, actually, I mean, debatable, but yeah.
Oh, now the gun is really to Tarren's head.
No, I mean,
No, I mean, I guess we should not drift too much because we wanted to like talk content stuff today.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
But
my
no,
bad.
it's like I think it's like super interesting, right? Because obviously people have different. I mean, there's also like the social media perception of things, right? Like what is like it just dictates the perception that we have. Now you live there, and especially like in the city and the like the part of the nation that you live in, like you just like first hand see stuff. But then it's like you said, right? Like other places, maybe it's like different around other parts of the country and
yeah.
whatnot. It's the same thing. I live in Germany. Well, yeah, I can like talk about the cities that I frequently go to.
Mm.
Like Berlin isn't too far away. I can say that is like a shithole, like a horrendous shithole. But like there's a lot of other cities that like they're in Germany. I haven't been there in 10 years or something. Like I cannot
Exactly.
make a lot of really educated comments on that. And people tell me like like the train station in Frankfurt is like just like a bunch of drug addicts and it's horrible
Yeah.
and crime and so on. It's like okay, like everybody's saying that. I mean, I do not believe in it because it is a shitty city, but I also haven't seen it myself, so I
Mm.
can't like 100% verify it, right? And I
The
think
thing with
that's a lot
China,
of
which
in social
is
media.
the thing with China, which is interesting, is that it's such a big country. Like that. That's why we had the different dynasties. Is why like there was a lot of wars over the different things. Like it's such a big country. I mean, we encompass some of Inner Mongolia, we encompass Tibet, we encompass so much. Like it's pretty insane, and to expect that everything is the same in China, it's just impossible. Like obviously there are going to be different things in different places. Like we're bordering Russia. Like that's obviously a different experience to where we are right on the south next to Taiwan. Like it's very very different. Yeah.
I wonder where all these stereotypes, like the modern stereotypes about China, came from, like the social credit and all of this stuff. It's probably social media, right? Because it's not going to be TV, it's not
It's
movies that told us that. I think so. It's
it's
probably not
fear mongering.
It's,
Facebook.
it's John
It's
Cena
fear
having to
mongering.
say Taiwan doesn't exist and apologize publicly. Yeah, I mean, you also have stuff like that, right? So like that is
I think
happening.
yeah. Look, I learned about this recently. Apparently, WWE has a or WWF, whatever it's called, E, right? It's called
E.
E now. Yeah, I think apparently they have like a thing where any of their people, any of their talent is able to learn a second language completely for free. They have like free tutors and stuff, and he's been learning about Chinese. So that's why he. But I don't know how much he's aware of like the history of China. Or I think in that situation he was forced to say that because
Yeah, they wanted to sell
yeah.
the new Fast and the Furious movie in China, right?
Correct. And China is a huge consumer.
Yeah.
Like $1 billion people like the NBA will kowtow to anything China wants because that's a huge any of these countries, any of these companies, man, McDonald's, Starbucks, bro, any H&M, like any of these companies, whatever China says they're gonna have to do. Like
I mean that is interesting on the like the movie and the content side of things again, right? Like how the how like they just adjust to the consumer base of the demographic of the nation that they want to cater to. There's like very different movie like billboards in China compared to in the West, right? There's like
yeah,
different actors that are liked, different actors that are disliked, and so on. So you just completely highlighted all of different stuff. And I think in the Western world, a lot of that is like in this like modern pseudo politically correct whatever lens. It's like, oh, you cannot do this and that and so on. But it's like, well, it's just like the economically correct thing. I think to some extent,
yeah,
I mean, it's not only China. It's like a lot of other parts of the world. You just accept like economic reality, and a lot of the Western world doesn't accept just economic reality. And it's like swinging the other side again. And we've seen that in a lot of content stuff and a lot of like platforms and how they monetize things, how they like maybe don't monetize people, how they, I don't know, ban people, how they like what content are they pushing and so
I
on.
mean
What do they
TikTok.
want you to see? Yeah, I mean, TikTok, YouTube is also like a very, very great
Yeah.
example of that. And
What I'm
that's
surprised
interesting.
about is how like yeah, YouTube surprises me a lot. Like Google, because considering Google doesn't even have like a platform in China, like that they're not even allowed to be in China. Like I'm surprised at the level of censorship that YouTube has. It seems kind of TikTok I can understand because it's run by China, right? Or
Mm.
the Chinese government has a percentage ownership in ByteDance. But yeah, Google trips me out because like what connection does like China, the Chinese government doesn't even allow YouTube or Google on in China. So who is pushing the censorship?
I
That's the
think
thing that baffles
Google
me.
is selling a lot of data to China, right? A lot of like
I
customer behavior and information analytical tools and so on, I believe.
right. See, yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but yeah, interesting stuff. We went a bit
Yeah,
off topic
yeah,
because you asked me
Well, I
about
mean,
where I live.
yeah.
yeah,
No, but I
yeah.
mean that is
Good.
like interesting on the content creation thing, right? Because you also have different content creation like culture in China. For example, when we in the West had like, oh, Ninja is the biggest creator and he makes so much of Fortnite and DC, it's like it's
Bro, they
nothing
make
compared to big
nothing,
influencers in China. Like
dude.
it's a
There
joke.
was the lip. I think it was
They
called the
make
lipstick.
nothing. You said.
Yeah, the
Bro,
Ninja compared to like the
nothing.
big Chinese
Oh,
influencers, like is
compa-
nothing.
I thought he said like Chinese influencers make nothing.
No, 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 no.
No,
Like
the
the big
West,
one,
bro.
like the big Chinese guys, they have like far more viewership and so on than like Ninja. Like
There
people
is
go
a
live and have like a
reason.
million views and shit.
There is a reason that a lot of athletes, even athletes, come and play Chinese basketball or Chinese soccer. Bro,
Mm.
they treat celebrities nuts over here. If you guys saw how they monetize over here, holy TV shows. Like they have I don't know if Luck and Coffee is like an international thing, but it's like a coffee thing. It's like Starbucks. But Luckin Coffee, they have all like the celebrities dancing with the like, bro, they just monetize everything. It's crazy. There is a guy. His name is how much? Lipstick King.
Does it work the same way, like subscribers, ads, and all of that? Like,
it's way different. I mean, it's
streaming platforms are like way better than Twitch. They actually pay you. They actually give you like a contract, and they pay you actual salaries and so on as well. And they compete with each other. Like they want you to stream on that platform.
Good. That's a good thing when Kick came in, right? Because or all of the other because every competition is good. It keeps the monopoly in check, right?
Check this out.
Yeah, but Kick is kind of like irrelevant again because Twitch just like gives you more money.
Okay. Yeah, but for a while everybody was like Twitch is gonna die and so on, and they really tightened, like they got their act a little bit together, I feel like.
Yeah. So this guy, his name is the Lipstick King. I don't know what his Chinese. I can look at it, but whatever. Lipstick King. So in China they have this. You know how that you have Boxing Day sales and things, Black Friday sales and things like that. So in China they have it on 11th of November, 11/11. It's a special sales day. It's the biggest sales day of the world. Take a guess at how much this one influencer generated in a 12-hour stream. Just take a guess.
25 mil.
25 mil? What do you reckon? 1 mil? $1.7 billion. Okay. In a 12-hour live stream. That's the kind of money we're talking about. Yeah. So if he's getting a cut, bro, he's making
how much he generated. I thought how much he made.
Yeah, no, he generated.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, then I'm probably not that far off, actually.
I mean, out of 1.7,
he probably made more,
100 mils. He'd be in the 100 mils, yeah.
It's 5% cut, and I'm like only off by 2x. But yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and that's a 12-hour stream, bro. Madness.
Yeah,
Chinese guys get paid.
It's like different numbers than like the Western world.
Yeah, bank. It's crazy.
Yeah, the biggest charity streams here is like a few million or whatever.
Yeah. Imagine anyone. Like, I don't even think really Kim Kardashian. I don't even think Kim Kardashian or Kylie Kardashian, Jenner. What's her name? I don't know.
Kylie Minogue.
No, the other Kardashian chick, Kylie Jenner, I think. If she could move 1.7 billion in 12 hours, I don't even think they could do that. No. Billion is a big number, bro.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's a big number. I think they could move hundreds of millions without a doubt. Billion in a day, tough.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I guess you also have more people that you're like selling to, because like,
of course,
more population, obviously.
Yeah, the market is huge. Yeah. Correct.
On that the Twitch Kick topic, though, I mean, I was like still like I was one of the people who was saying, okay, like Kick actually. I mean, Kick is a good platform, I think, but they haven't actually. It's been pretty silent. They haven't actually kept improving, right? They were like a point where people thought, okay, this is like better than the previous competitors to Twitch, and they were offering like good deals and like the subscriber cut and so on, and they wouldn't ban you. I mean, Twitch at the time was like pretty harsh on just banning a lot of people that probably would be making their money, but I don't really know what like all the background stories to that are going to be. Like probably some is like advertiser friendly stuff again, but they didn't want to have those people on their platform because maybe their payment provider would cut them off if there's like too much gambling or nudity going on. Like that's the OnlyFans issue, right? Where OnlyFans had to change, or like all of the OnlyFans like similar sites. At some point, they always get too big, and then their payment provider comes to them and is like, yeah, you make like adult content, so we don't want to deal with you anymore. You have to go to like another payment provider, and then they're going to charge them higher rates. And then they have to like cut back on the guidelines. Like, I don't know if that happened on Twitch to some extent, maybe even. Like, I think that is why they care about all the like new, like not safe for work trends, that they actually do ban some of that and care about that. The same thing is gambling. Gambling probably the similar issue. So I don't know if it's like a advertiser friendly or a payment provider or just like Twitch ideology, Amazon, who knows, right?
I don't think they have ideology, but all the rest, I'm sure.
I mean, if like the people who want to advertise on your platform care about that, then like you're gonna like support their idea bullshit. That's what YouTube is doing, right? That's what people are attacking like Elon on it as well, right? Where they're like, well, we're just not gonna advertise on your platform unless you like promote the content we want you to promote and so on.
Yeah,
So
I
that's the thing.
think
But
Kick.
on the kick thing, coming back to that, right? Like Twitch just got better with like the monetization on ads, like far better, and I think that just makes a big difference, right? The argument was always like on Kick, you can eventually make more money because you get like better cuts and so on, and you're not gonna get banned and not censored and so on. And now people, I think, have accepted more. Well, Twitch just gives me better cuts and deals. Also, Twitch has now the 70-30 cut again, which they took away from everybody, right? So Twitch has just, due to competition from Kick, maybe, right? Twitch has moved to like pay people better again.
Interesting.
And yeah, like they like to some extent allow multi-streaming to different platforms and so on as well, right? So Twitch has quality-wise been getting better and better monetizable in recent years for sure, especially compared to when I last streamed. Like,
Yeah,
if I had I had like 500-600 average viewers per stream, like per month in 2020, like in mid 2020. If I'd had that right now, I would also I would be able to monetize that very, very well, like far better than back then. I would not even consider to keep doing esport. I would not even consider to prioritize content like that over content creation. Like I would
yeah,
immediately be like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna accept it. I'm gonna play my ads, sure, and it's just like just far more profitable than it was 4 years ago. It's
yeah. I've
changed a
been
lot.
following it a little bit while everything was happening, and it seemed like Twitch was dying. Nobody, like everybody was like, it's gonna be gone in 5-10 years. They're just going down. Kick came in. It made like it's sponsored by the gambling site they're running, right? So they have a lot of cash to throw around.
No, it's like the same investors from
I'm pretty
I forgot the
sure.
name. What's the online casino called? Stake. It's like
Yeah, Stake.
the investors in Stake also like pay for Kick. It's not sponsored. It's just like they like paid for the company to exist.
Yeah, it's their thing. So they had all the money from their other business side of things
Yeah,
to throw in.
it's the same investors. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
sponsored by them, right?
No,
I
no.
think that's yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So they came in, bought like XQC for 100 million. I think it wasn't really 100 million, but that was like the big headlines and everything. And they bought a lot of creators and tried to go for it. What was the other
But
one? And
those numbers are for like a certain amount of time. They say 100 mil, but we don't know, is that over 3 years, 5 years? We
5
don't
years.
know
I think it
those.
was 20 mil
Yeah.
per year if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I think they tried everything they could, and then Twitch at the same time it was like, oh shit, we got competition, we gotta get our act together, and they started to become better. The 70-30 split and all that stuff, like also trying to get all the nudity off and whatever it was. And then I think like Kick is now, well, we tried everything, didn't really work. It's a huge money sink, and they're kind of not investing much anymore, and that's why we haven't seen much improvement from them. But it was an overall good thing. But
Kick is probably like doing okay for what they want to be doing. Like all the people who want to stream slots and all things like that, right? Like they
yeah,
can do there, and you still have a lot of big streamers on Kick. It's not like Kick is like doing okay compared
I would
to
like to see
like
numbers.
previous things, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
It
like
was
it's like
really
it's gonna
cool.
be hard to compete with Twitch because it has like a very big monopoly setting. It's the same as like Rumble competing with YouTube, even though I guess Rumble is to like some extent succeeding actually. I think Rumble has what like 6% or probably more now, like 6% of like video streaming market share. But that is like a massive number.
Yeah. All I know is I've been multi-streaming on Kick, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And once in a while, there's one Kick guy come in, wants to scam me, and he leaves again. Or a Kick girl, usually. It's always women. It's like Lisa something, and it's all fake women that try to sell me something. And maybe every once in a month, there's one genuine viewer coming in where I get like so much more people from the other sites. And yeah, that's just from my experience. But I think it's good there is a competitor, and I think it made the whole scene better. The more the better, right? I think we are
Competition
at
is
the
always good.
yeah.
Sorry.
We are at the 1:30 mark. We managed to have a nice talk. Sorry to get into China a lot, but I think it's super interesting. So I think we did it well at the end. Thank you for sharing. It's nice to
Oh, good
know.
man. I like talking about it, but yeah, I understand. I don't know what the audience is or what you guys are trying to do with this
I
podcast.
think like last time we started with gaming and then we ended with global warming. It does not really matter. Like I think people know we just like to talk what's interesting to us, and
You guys should be clipping this, by the way.
Yeah.
I genuinely think you guys should be clipping this.
It's actually I had my editor look over the entire first podcast, and he was like, it's pretty bad for clips. He was like, he didn't really find like 60-second
shorts?
lower things. Yeah, you didn't find 60-second lower stuff mainly.
Well, my stuff
what he
probably,
told
because
me.
mine is like 10 seconds long and you're like talking for 5 minutes every time.
Actually, I mean, I'll make like the John Peterson like way of like the long statements instead of the like really short clickbaity things. That is true.
Which is fine. Like TikTok always gives you the option to cut your video into 2 parts. It's apparently the meta to just cut off the video, which annoys me so much if the video just stops mid-sentence. But I think that could be a way to do it too. Let's play around with it. For now, it's fine. We're on the 3rd episode. We have Tarren on here, our first guest. Thank you so much again for coming. Everybody, thank you for watching. We see you in the next one. Until then, peace out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.